Hi Sierra, this is Darren. I'm just going to do these results because I like to tell people how much fun JASP is, and there are some interesting issues with your data and stuff that were a lot of fun. So anyway, here's the data. Oops, this is the wrong one. Sorry, let me get the second data set that you sent me. Sorry, that other thing you're seeing there is for making quizzes for my students. So I'm sorry the audio on this is probably horrendous. But anyway, I went through and I reorganized this data into a way that software will like it, that software will like it. So I took basically the columns from each analysis that you did, from each sample that you did. I created a new spreadsheet that has all this data in it. I don't think we need the photo, but I put it in there just in case. But I put different variables for rock, photo, and size, and then I just paste all this stuff in here. So you can see when we get to the end of rock PB3, we start in on FO1. When we get to the end of that, we start in on WA1, probably not meaning Washington. Anyway, so this is long format data. That's what it's generally called, and this is what stat software usually likes, so that you can have one variable that is your independent variable, and then another one that's your dependent variable, or predictor and response if you want to be more technical in a correlational study like this. So anyway, I exported this to CSV, and so you can see that the CSV file, let me put this up here. The CSV file here is just that one sheet, and that's what JASP or R or SPSS will use this, SAS will use it, pretty much anything would use that kind of data. So I'm going to crank up JASP here. So here's what JASP looks like. That you're on version 0.7. Coming out with new versions every couple of months, and it's just kind of getting cooler. So I'm just going to go over here and import our CSV file. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. So JASP imports CSV files very nicely, and it wants them in this format, and it picks things out pretty correctly. It shows you the little symbol for a purely categorical variable for rock. It has figured out, although you could change this if you want to, it has figured out that photo is essentially an ordinal variable, and we're not going to use it anyway, and then it's figured out that size is a numerical variable. So I'm going to also open up a Word document here where we can paste results. Let's see if I can find that here. Hello, Word document, where did you go? There. Is this it? No, that's a different one. So I'll just use a new one here. I'll move that over here to the side because this pastes nicely into Word. So I'm not going to do testing assumptions here. JASP has some limitations as far as that goes. They can be tested in other things, and I'll send you some stuff where I look at those in maybe Excel, or not Excel, like R or something like that. But JASP will certainly do your analyses very nicely for you. So I'm going to look at ANOVA right here. So JASP does beautiful descriptors, but I don't think it can break things down by groups, which is, I think yeah, it has some problems there. It's not going to be able to break anything down by groups, I don't think, anyway. But it's a nice friendly button that says ANOVA right here. Handy. Do ANOVA. It's just a standard between subjects ANOVA. JASP can't do a ton of different things right now, but what it does, I think it does very well. So rock is going to be your fixed factor, in other words, your predictor. And size of the grains, that's what I named that variable, is your dependent variable. And it's not a true dependent, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. That's what JASP calls it. So I'm going to make this a little larger here, because things are just going to kind of appear here as you do stuff. The descriptives, I ended up not doing that, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So your model, yeah, standard. It's a very simple model. Contrasts, we're not going to do any specific contrast. That's more important if you have a factorial test. post hoc test. Now, I do want to do some post hoc tests. I don't know if you are interested in the post hoc test, but I suspected you might be, so I'm going to do that. And options, marginal means. It will be probably interesting to know the means, and that will give you the means of your different groups, although you can get that from Excel. That this might be slightly adjusted, so Excel might give you more raw means. And then descriptive plots, let's just make a means plot. And let's see. Oh goodness, this is extending onto my, this is a 2-monitor setup, and this is extending onto my lower monitor, which is kind of crazy. So I really like confidence intervals for the error bars. And so I just click OK, and there we go. It's all done. So I would probably put the marginal mean first as your descriptives. There we go. Here, copy table. And you can tweak that to your heart's content. You can also paste this into PowerPoint instead. And the ANOVA, of course. I'll just take this. And that can be tweaked also and made look slightly more pretty. Although it's pretty nice already. And then I can copy this table here. And there we go. And we're done. I would probably tweak it if necessary as we go through things. Now that the plot here of the means is really very informative. So that's pretty handy also. And let's paste that over here. I'll put it in here somewhere, probably before post hocs. I don't know, however you want to organize things. So that isn't the highest resolution plot in the world, but there it is. It works out fairly nicely. Anyway, I'm going to use probably R to find maybe a little bit extra information about your variables and look at their distributions, because JASP can do it, but you have to go through and break up your CSV file into 3 separate files and do things one at a time, which is kind of a pain.